Hello girls, we're in my little garden cabana, where I've got everything stored to do with bees. So these are supers which I've cleaned. You saw that in the last video. Now they're going to be stored, and to make sure that if there's any eggs present from hive moths, wax moths, then I get rid of them. So we do that with the mèche de soufre. It's the same, I think, that's used in the wine industry. You get that from Gamme Verte. I can give you one or not, because I've got a whole packet, which will probably take me a few years. So basically, what I've got a old metal tray, which you need to burn it in because you don't want to set fire to your frames. Ha! And I'm using an empty super to put on top. Depending on what dish you have, maybe just your the little frame, super frame for the feeder will be high enough. And then once we light it, we put the metal lid on top, and I close the door of the cabana and I get out of there. And I pretty much leave it for it will burn, and the smoke from the sulfur actually goes down, so that's why you burn it on top, and it goes down, and you can stack up to 6 supers, but one will be super will be not a problem. So anyway, I don't know if you really need to see me trying to light this. Anyway, so I light it, and it's very toxic when it's burning. You do not want to inhale it. So I have the lid ready. I put it on like that, and I back out of there, baby, and close the door. In theory, you should also do that maybe 2 weeks later, so that if there are hive moth eggs that still hatch afterwards, then you make sure that they're dead. I don't think I did last year, and I didn't have a problem, but it definitely depends on the types of frames that you're storing. Hive moths are interested in the dark frames, the ones which might have a little bit of pollen in them, and so on. If they're just the foundation wax which hasn't been pulled, or it's been pulled and it's very white and hasn't been used, it's not so bad. And anyway, the idea is that you should keep your frames nice and dry, out of humidity, but aired. So I tend to have a system where at the bottom I put them on like a couple of runners of wood on a frame. I've got some gauze so that air can breathe from the bottom, and then on top I'm going to cover them again with gauze and a bit of probably a frame, something like this. I use a couple of pieces of wood to put on top, and then I'll put a hive like a cover on top, so the air can get under. But if there's, because my problem is this is a cabana that's in the garden, and I'm sure there's from time to time a rodent that might wander through here. I do not want him peeing somewhere where it will drop into my hives. So I need the air to circulate, but I don't want any nasties going inside. So if you've got a nice clean place, a cellar where you can keep everything, that's great. Wrap it up in a clean old sheet. Still, put it raised on some blocks or something so that air can circulate, but that should be great. So you probably all have a lot better storage possibilities than me. There you go.